Assalamualaikum and hello everyone, especially to my panel, and hope everyone is doing well. Today, this video is created for my presentation slide of my PSM 1 with the given title, The Investigation of Virtual Reality Tool Performance for 3D Design Visualization Considering Cultural Preference. Before that, I will introduce myself. My name is Syazrien Effendi Bin Ghazali and I'm from Faculty of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering. My supervisor is Dr. IHWAN Ghazali. The outline for this presentation will begin with the introduction that contains of background study, problem statement, objective, and scope of research. And we continue with literature review, methodology, and ended with the expected result and conclusion. So, let's begin with chapter 1, which is background study. Nowadays, technology plays a significant role in transforming our lifestyle. One such technology is virtual reality (VR), which is a major actor in this generation, particularly among millennials. Virtual reality has a variety of uses including gaming, education, and 3D design simulation. Schools and universities also believe that incorporating virtual reality into education and using it as an alternative method of teaching and learning allows students to effectively exercise their creativity, particularly if they are also designing architectural plans and objects. Recent study has identified the benefit of merging 3D modeling and virtual reality in a variety of applications, and VR also is used for spatial planning projects. Designers need to keep in mind the impact of cultural values on customer preference when developing 3D design modeling using VR tools. Next is the problem statement which are found in my research. First, VR tools not so familiar in Malaysia industrial, especially in 3D design modeling. Second, culture value ranking effect on VR tool uses in 3D design modeling. Third, low demands on VR tools on 3D design modeling. And lastly, lack of research about VR tools in design 3D model make it unfamous to use in Malaysia. So, the objective of this project is to identify the virtual reality tool performance attributes for 3D design visualization in literature. Second, to identify the relationship between the cultural value of virtual reality performance for 3D design visualization. And third, to evaluate the important rating of virtual reality tool performance for 3D design visualization considering cultural value influences. The scope in this study is focusing on educational purpose in 3D design visualization in Malaysia and industrial that related to 3D design modeling in Malaysia. So, next part we talk about literature review. Literature review is a research from previous case study. There are some of case study that I want to elaborate. First, characteristic in virtual reality. There are three characteristics in virtual reality which are hardware, software, and IoT. These are some of the examples of each characteristic. We start from hardware. Basically, the hardware contains of VR accessories like headset, controller, hand tracker, and 3D camera. Next, we go for software. Some of software we use in VR are VR Content Management System, VR Software Development Kit, and VR Training Simulator software. Lastly, the IoT characteristic is high-speed internet connection like 4G and 5G connection. This is the customer preference on virtual reality. There are three customer preference on virtual reality which are preference on appearance, preference on price, and preference on functionality. Based on appearance, customer consider the color of product, size of product, style of product, and brand of the product. For the preference on price, customer want the fairness between price and product quality and sacrifice by paying higher price to get branded product. Lastly, the preference on functionality. Customer prefer the easiness in using the product, additional function embedded in product, multifunction, safety when using the product, and clear information on how to use the product. Next, we go for cultural value. When we talk about culture, we are referring to the way a society organizes its custom inside a certain social group. Hosted say culture is a collection of mental programs that serve to differentiate one group of people from another. Cultural feature can be defined as pattern, behavior attainment, and character translation. It has been determined that culture is a collective natural mindset which exhibits an evolutionary pattern of qualities, which may identify one group from another based on many definitions of culture. This is the five cultural dimensions which is studied by Hofstede. The five cultural dimensions are individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, long short-term orientation, uncertainty avoidance, and power distance. This is the framework to identify the cultural value influences on virtual reality preferences. So basically, I combine the five cultural value dimension with customer preference on virtual reality to create a hypothesis based on Malaysia culture. These are the hypotheses that I create based on culture value in Malaysia. First, customer tastes for virtual reality are heavily influenced by collectivism in Malaysia. Second, customer tastes for virtual reality in Malaysia are heavily influenced by their gender. Third, customer tastes for virtual reality in Malaysia are heavily influenced by their anxiety avoidance. Fourth, customer tastes for virtual reality in Malaysia are heavily influenced by power distance. And fifth, customer tastes for virtual reality in Malaysia are influenced by the country long-term focus. Next, we go for chapter 3, which is methodology. For this research design, I use quantitative method. In quantitative research, hypotheses are tested and the relationship between variables are investigated in order to reach a study aim. So, the first step I use in for method is non-experimental because a sample of the population is used to gather data, the population trends, behavior, and opinions. Next, the objective of this research is to survey Malaysia culture preference on VR tools. For the instrument, I use an online survey by making Google Form and offline survey which I collected data from walking around Malaysia. After the data has been collected, I use Smart PLS software to make analysis. For the flow of the questionnaire, basically I start to design the questionnaire. Then, make the scale for the questionnaire and translating the questionnaire into three languages which are English and Bahasa Malaysia. After that, pre-test and pilot study has to be run to determine whether the question difficult or not to be answered. After everything is okay, then the actual survey start to begin. Because we study about culture value in Malaysia, so the place we do the survey is in around Malaysia. For the last part, I will discuss about chapter 4 which is results and discussion. During to do this research, this is our expected result based on previous research on cultural values in Malaysia. That's all for my presentation for my PSM 1. Thank you for your time.